name.
Mikey, look, what's in that bag?
To the Kansas City Urban Farmers Co-op Relaunch. Some of y'all don't know, we're calling it a relaunch because we started 7 months ago, going on 8 months ago.
Okay, after you eat something.
We've been doing a lot of work. We'll tell you about it a little later. Just want to take a second to say thank you all you beautiful kings and queens for making it out here today, taking out your busy schedule for something we feel that is important, urgent, and necessary task at hand. It's a beautiful sight to see because this right here, we don't need a lot of people, we just need the right people. So y'all give yourself a hand. The mission of Kansas City Urban Farmers Co-op is to build a locally owned, member-operated economic engine fueled by sustainable urban agriculture. Kind of give you an idea of what we're facing right now. I just need a little crowd participation for this part. So when I say because, I want you to say, he who controls your food controls you. Let's try it. We don't control our communities because he who controls your food controls you. I like that point. I wish everybody could do that, but I ain't going to ask y'all to. That. In Kansas City and most urban cities in the U.S., almost all of our food, I'll say it again, 99% of our food is imported. Imported. This means that there's a huge market wide open and ours for the taking. Food is the base of every nation's economy. Food is the number one invaluable resource that can and has been used to control groups of people throughout history. Because he who controls your food controls you. Once we get control of our food industry, we would then have a strong economic base to be able to control and influence other industries, institutions, and governments, creating sustainable economies in poverty-stricken urban communities. The KCUFC will be a real-life example, not just great ideas and jargon, but a real-life, tangible model of what a community can do when we pull our resources, talents, and money together for a common goal. We choose to control our own futures because he that controls your food controls you. This is big. We will then have the blueprint to duplicate our systems in cities nationwide and internationally, eventually eliminating food deserts, malnutrition, starvation, and world hunger. Food security is also a concern I've had for my family and my community. In the event of an emergency, our grocery stores will run out of food in only 3 days. Say that again. In the event of an emergency, our grocery stores will run out of food in 3 days. At the very least, we will be able to feed ourselves and our children when natural and man-made disasters happen. Because he who controls your food controls you. The current world food systems are not sustainable. We have almost no control over the accessibility, quality, price, and the distribution of our quote-unquote daily bread. So, to all my revolutionary kings and queens, I submit to you that we cannot build a nation if we cannot feed ourselves. Because he who controls you controls your food. Yeah, I messed that up.
It's all good. We get the point. We get the point.
I feel like y'all my family kind of sort of a little bit.
We mean what you know.
Of course, there's tons of other great reasons to be involved with this co-op, including numerous health benefits, physically, mentally, and emotionally, community cohesion, jobs and careers, crime reduction, etc., etc. This is not just a good idea. This is what we must do. to not only to survive, but to thrive. If we fail to take on this responsibility, I fear that we have been forsaking generations to come. Because he who controls your food controls you. Being a member of KCUFC does just that. It gives you the power to control the production, the quality, the accessibility of your family's food supply. So why am I doing this? To make a long story short, I'm doing this for love. I'm doing this for the babies. My name is Darian Davis, and I'm a board member and original founder of the Kansas City Urban Farm Co-op. Let's see what we got here. We've been doing a lot of work in these last 7-8 months. Been kind of under the radar because we've been getting a lot of the particulars, the legalities, and the structure and foundation of this co-op. One of our proudest accomplishments is the formation of our board of directors. It is my pleasure to introduce you to KCUF's Power Team, your board of directors. Yeah. So what we did is every board member emailed me a why statement. Why are they a part of this? Why are they helping lead crusade? Let's see here. Ms. Cheryl Johnson. Hi, everybody see. In Cheryl's why statement, she pointed out that she's concerned about what she was putting into her body and serving to her family. She started planting gardening, researching hydroponic and aquaponics, and stumbled upon Nile Valley Aquaponics 100,000-pound food project. When she came to the co-op's first meeting, she realized that this is where she would be able to serve her family and community. She says, and I quote, "Being a part of this organization has allowed me to come in contact with many awake and dedicated people, and it has renewed my faith that we as a community will be able to not only survive, but thrive in the situations that we'll be faced with in the coming years." Cheryl Johnson's been holding it down since she's been a board member. Just a wonderful woman. She's been working hard. Anything we need, she's there, Johnny on the spot, and she has a little spice of wisdom in there for us. Everybody give it up, Miss Cheryl Johnson.
Yeah, stand up. There you go. There you go.
Miss Bonita Mickens. I'm interested in connecting to a vision that will provide fresh, healthy produce to the urban core. I want to put in the work needed to change the community mindset that we must depend on outside entities to help our community flourish economically and emotionally. Be encouraged because we are a multi-billion-dollar community in training. Give it up. Jamila Johnson. Hey, Jamila. In her why statement, Jamila said the reason she joined KCUFC were twofold. First, she and her family have recently been researching urban gardens and built one of their own. She stumbled across a guy in KC building a greenhouse that grows food using aquaponics. She knew that she wanted to be a part of Drake Taylor's vision. Secondly, she found purpose in building something for herself and, most importantly, her community. Everybody, give a hand for the fabulous Miss Jamila. By the way, Ms. Jamila Johnson is our secretary of KCUFC. And she's very good at her job. She's very good at keeping everybody on task. And she does a lot of the stuff don't nobody else want to do. You know. Thanks, Jamila. Nanny Mickens. In his wise statement, Landon expressed his frustration with the fact that we live in a country that produces more than enough food for everybody, but we still have hungry people, especially in poor black communities. He joined to be a part of the solution to the problem. He says, quote unquote, we cannot wait for someone to do it for us. We must put the control of this industry back into the hands of the people. If we are what we eat, and we don't own what we eat, then who owns us? Everybody give it up. My man, Landon Mickens. Landon Mickens is the co-op's treasurer. A side note, he said in here, where is that at? He says we must put the control of this industry back into the hands of the people. Backwards seeming like we had some type of control at one time. But just a side note, soon after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, over 50% of the farmers in the United States were black. In 2017, less than 1% of farmers are black. We're going to change that. That's right. Lamine Raphael, my man. He didn't, y'all want to clap for him? He right over there. Lamine is your vice president of the Kansas City Urban Farmers Co-op. Lamine didn't send me his why. So I'm just going to talk about what I know about this man. This is a solid brother right here. And if I was to speak on his behalf, I would say that he has adopted the purpose of being a servant to the people. He is a servant to the core. In every walk of his life, he's a nation builder through and through. Your Vice President, Lamine. Last but not least, a man who needs no introduction, the president of the Kansas City Urban Farmers Co-op, Mr. Dre Taylor. Dre said he helped found the co-op as he felt it was the best response to solving a lot of issues we faced in regards to health, economics, and crime. The co-op is something everybody can practice and benefit from. Kept it short and sweet. Dre Taylor. Kansas City, give it up for your Kansas City Urban Farmers Co-op first board of directors. Next up, we have a presentation by your Vice President, Lamine. Yeah, my baby's dog.
our engineer guy just took off on me. Right on. So, hey, look, this is what happens sometimes.
Yep.
Technical difficulties, so we're just going to run with it, okay? We do have another projector I think we might use because I really feel everyone's going to gain a lot from if we can get this going here. Just give us a quick second here. Just not getting a good... Yes, she's gonna fix it. She's gonna fix it. Okay, where's that hell at? Okay, here we go. Yep, this is what happens. Black screen. Word black is not bad. Let's see. Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move on without it. We can throw the lights back on. Get the lights back on. Turn on the lights. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it back on. Man, we just might have this. Actually. What I think we're going to do is we're going to set up our projector because the house projector is not working properly. And then as soon as we get that set back up, we'll continue with the presentation. Okay? So y'all don't have to clap for me. Let's just clap for Drake. That's okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you, everybody, for coming here. Beautiful crowd. I'm just going to talk about what we've been doing since the last meeting. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, meeting with our lawyer, especially the co-op lawyer. We did some things that we wasn't supposed to do from the jump, and we like to address those things. One of the things we did was we said shares. And so if you don't have like $1 million up front, which we don't have quite yet, but we're working on, we can say shares, we have to say memberships. And so now, instead of shares, we become members. And so there's some slight change in what we're doing. And so it's still a positive. Been meeting with a lot of city officials, especially those in the 5th District. They've been very supportive of the co-op. We applied for a grant through PIAC in the 5th and the 3rd District. We didn't get the funds in the 3rd District, but we got the funds in the 5th District. They went ahead and gave us $100,000. So we look at organizations in the city, and you see them doing the same thing, not getting any results. And you say, okay, the Urban Farm Co-op started 8 months ago. Now we got $100,000 to our name. We're going to plant 200 fruit trees in Urban Core right there on 51st in Indiana. So this will be one of the largest fruit orchards in the Midwest, actually. And so after the third or fourth year, we'll be producing almost 50,000 pounds of fruit every year for the next 15 to 20 years. And so when you're talking about hunger, you're talking about feeding people, it don't get no better than planting 200 plus fruit trees, cherry bushes, raspberries, blackberries, fig trees, and so forth. And so we take control of our health. We actually have a Give and Grove. We partner with the Give and Grove. And we have Amanda from Give and Grove here. And so, of course, we're going to have, you come up, Amanda. Of course, we're going to need some help planting those 200 fruit trees. We're going to plant them on August 22nd, like I said, on 51st in Indiana. And so we're going to plant these fruit trees. We need some help planting them. We need some people to learn actually how to plant fruit trees. My goal is to actually have, almost a fruit tree or on every block, or at least 5 minutes from every block in Kansas City. And so fruit trees about, $30, $40. So I think it's very feasible for somebody to own a fruit tree and have a fruit tree planted, not in their yard or on their block, but somewhere close, and access to food. So if you're talking about each fruit tree, almost 300 pounds of fruit You know, there's no reason why somebody should go hungry in Kansas City if we take control of our own food system and we have different type of foods growing in our community. But I'm gonna let Amanda talk about a little bit about the Give and Grow.
Thanks, guys. So I work with the Give and Grow, and as mentioned, we are a part of the Kansas City Community Gardens. And so we are delighted to partner with you all because it is not our orchard or our fruit trees, but it is yours as a community, as a group of people. It is your orchard, your Give and Grow. So we partner in order to educate and to help as far as with the resources necessary to learn how to manage and maintain this orchard. So we have all of the tools, all of the actual trees. We have a nursery where we keep all of our trees and make them available to community groups such as you all across the Kansas City Metro. And we're just really excited to work with you here in this park, in this area, and be able to plant this roughly 200 fruit trees. So what it requires from you all is the effort and the ability to maintain and manage them. But we're not just going to throw them at you and say, here you go, here's some fruit trees, figure out how to grow them. So we partner with you all to, like I said, to educate and to teach you how to do that. And in order to do that, it's going to require coming and learning how to do that through a series of workshops that we have. So we're excited because Dre has already been to a couple of our workshops as we planted a Give and Grow orchard at Nile Valley last fall. And so it's going to be a much bigger project and will require more of you all to help maintain that. So just wanted to share a few dates. How many of you guys are actually excited about planting fruit trees and getting your hands dirty? Yeah, okay. So we're excited to take part in planting and doing that. And we are delighted to work with all of you to actually help plant these trees. So 200 trees are not going to go in the ground, on a short amount of time. So we're excited. More hands are going to make less work. But to get started, we call it our new steward training. So all of you that are going to take part in maintaining these trees, you are all stewards. Stewards of the land, stewards of these trees. And so our first new steward training, here's an important date if you feel like you are willing and able to come and learn what it's going to take to grow these trees. We have March 1st and March 9th. So as I was walking up here, Dre mentioned August 22nd. Did anybody catch that as our planting date? It's actually April 22nd, okay? So this spring, going in the ground. Okay, so March 1st and 9th are 2 dates that we're offering our new steward training. So come and learn how to plant the trees and kind of the essential pieces you'll need to know for the first couple years of the tree's life. And then our actual planting dates. So like we're going to be digging holes, putting trees in the ground, covering them with soil, mulching, a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's April 22nd. So we scheduled 2 dates with Dre, the 20th and the 22nd. So we realized that it's going to take more time than probably is going to happen in one day. So there's Thursday the 20th and then also Saturday the 22nd. Okay? So we're excited about those planting dates. If you guys are able to come to our new steward training, if you're kind of signing on as that key group of stewards that are going to really learn and know how to do that, we'd love it if you could probably let Dre know, and Dre will let us know who's coming. If we have a group this big, you're not going to fit in our tiny little office. So, but we would love to train as many of you as possible.
The first
Yeah, those are fabulous questions, okay? So we are doing our workshop, our steward trainings from 6 to 8 p.m. and they will be held at the Kansas City Community Gardens. So if you guys could, is that okay? To Dre, and then he'll let us know how many y'all are coming. And then the actual time, on that Saturday the 22nd, we'll get started at 9 a.m. And also, I believe on Thursday the 20th, we'll probably get started at 9 a.m. as well. So I'm sure we'll have more reminders of those dates coming through your group. So just one or the other. That's a great question. Yeah, the new steward training, the first or the 9th are the same class. Yeah.
What's the
Yeah, so the Kansas City Community Gardens are located in Swope Park. So we'll send out those specific details. It's 6917 Kensington Avenue if you want to write that down. And then the actual location of the orchard. I don't even know that. 51st in Indiana, right there in that Satchel Paige Park. So we're excited. The Giving Grove, we work with groups all over, and if you want to take a little sneak peek, how many of you have seen the trees that are planted at Nile Valley Aquaponics already? A few of you? So go take a look at that. We're not planting giant trees. And like Dre said, it's going to take 3 or 4 years before the trees start putting on even just a little bit of fruit. And it's year around 6 when they're in full production. So y'all are investing in the future. And I'm just so excited for your interest and your passion in doing that. And we're excited to be with you for the long haul. So the Giving Grove will be with you for the long haul, teaching and helping and whatever resources you may need. And to make this orchard a really great success and to grow a whole lot of awesome, healthy fruit for your neighborhood. So, thank you guys.
Some other things we're doing is plant season is coming up, and so we want everybody to start planting something. Those who have vacant lots and don't know what to do with those vacant lots, we have Eric Person sitting up in the front. Raise your hand, Eric. He works with, he got KC Aquaponics, he helped with my aquaponics, he's with KC Urban Bugs, KC Bugs, Black Urban Growers Group with me, and he's helping out a lot. So he specializes in like backyard systems, basement systems, so those who are interested in vacant lots, he's going to do a free consultation. So if you want a free consultation on what could be done on your lot, Eric's going to help you out there. So whatever you want to plant, corn, beans, squash, he's an expert on it, so he'll get with you or get with him on growing. Part of this KC Urban Farm Co-op, we want to have a market so everybody can sell their produce wherever they grow. And we want to do it in an inner core inside the city. So we're going to be looking at a location to do it, so doing like a mock-up market where we'll be able to sell our produce at. And so hopefully you guys are going to plant something in the ground, whether it's tomatoes, whatever it is. And we also going to have starter plants for sale coming up end of March. Probably the best time to get them in the ground after the first freeze is probably about April 15th. But we can actually get started and start planting those starters right now and setting the tone so you get a good jump on plants when they get ready to grow. So somebody had a question before about, they asked me before I got here, was what if you have a vacant lot, how does that exactly work? So if you have a vacant lot and you just want to grow food on it or you need some help with it, somebody approached me, I think from Jackson County, where there's a lot of people need community service hours. And so through the KC Urban Farm Co-op, they can do their community service hours through the KC Urban Farm Co-op and we can actually get them to help them out and till and weed some of you guys' lots. And so signing up with us, we can get that help out there that you might need because you might struggle and it might be a first garden. So this is actually a blessing, I guess, for those who need community service hours. We put those people to work instead of just always picking up trash. So trying to think what else we want to talk about. We have we're trying to still get the space on 45th and Prospect. We might have to move to another location. The 5th district, we get a little bit more love in the 5th district than we do the 3rd district. And so we might be looking at the 5th district as a new place to put some more greenhouses on. If we can do that, we got a lot of support from the city, the assistant city manager, the city council, Alyssa Kennedy, and Lee Barnes there, and their assistant, Kima McCoy. We, Parks and Rec, are loving what we're doing, so we have a lot of support throughout the city. I can't say that for a lot of other groups, especially new groups that's 8 months old. And so we moving forward. Like I said, we're going to plant those fruit trees, $100,000. It's not going to take $100,000 to plant 200 fruit trees, and so we're going to try to apply those funds to maybe take those funds and use as collateral to maybe get a loan or get other grants. We need currently almost about $500,000 to do a retail space inside of the greenhouse. We have the greenhouse where we actually sell the food, so we're going to do fresh produce inside of there. So we're doing something that basically nobody is doing in the country. So like I said, we're trying to establish a template that can be duplicated in other cities. Nobody else is doing a 200 fruit tree orchard. Nobody's going to have greenhouses where you can actually have people from the community sell some of their produce inside of there. If you've been to the city market, you notice there's no black farmers at the city market. There's a 2-year wait on the Saturday. You can go to the Brookside market, but I don't see a lot of people at the Brookside market. None of you guys I don't see there. And there might be a couple other markets inside of the city. So we're trying to have them focus inside the inner core. We have access to the food. They closed down a grocery store on Cleveland Boulevard. They closed down another grocery store, I believe, too. I don't know, on Main. And so this is a perfect opportunity. With the current political climate, if we talk about Mexico, the tariffs, if you charge a 20% tariff, you're going to see a rise in some of the produce that you get that come from Mexico. And so you ain't going to be able to afford those tomatoes, because a lot of the tomatoes come from Mexico. And so these are some of the things that we got to take control over when you talk about our food system, as Darren mentioned earlier. And so this is something that everybody can play a part in. Your kids, from 1 to 99, everybody needs to be growing food. This is the food revolution. It started off, by a simple post on Facebook. I was just naming some things. It was as a result of the Black Lives Matter movement. I said, the most revolutionary thing you can do is grow food. We look at the hospital, you see somebody there for heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer. You see dialysis places popping up all over the city. And so this is the answer to our solution, is growing food. And so this is something we can all take in our hands and all do collectively in our city. Let's set the tone for everybody else. We don't need a lot of people. Yeah, we want a lot of people, but we just need the right people. We want you to tell the neighbor, tell your friend, tell everybody on your block. Let's set the tone. It started just like I said, a post on Facebook. And look at you guys here. We got, $100,000 later, 200 fruit trees, and we're moving forward. 8 months. Who know we're going to do in 2 years, 8 years. Like I said, you got a lot of organizations, and we hate to call them out, but they're not doing anything. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And so we have to change something. We have to change. I mean, this is a solution. We're going to try to get there's 2 co-op members. I see one over here who may be purchasing some greenhouses. So collectively, if we want to go in and help them purchase those greenhouses so we can grow food all year round, I think that's something we can do collectively. I met somebody today that drove by the greenhouse. They had 10 acres in Belton and wanted us to, say it was open for us to maybe possibly form one of 10 acres. And so collectively, we have the land. Seeds is nothing but $1 for maybe 1,000 seeds. And so let's plant some stuff. Not much a talker, I'm more of a doer. Been in our valley, you see with my post, it's about work. So that's what I'm about. I'm not about making no false promises or telling you, trying to sell something to you. I'd rather do the work. And so that's unfortunately, I hope that's what you guys are here for, is to do the work. I can't do everything myself. Eric can't do everything himself. Harry and Lamine, we can't do it all. We need jobs. This is what makes it cooperative. Pulling our resources. Who do you know? How can we get this? How can we get that? We got to pull our resources, not just with the food, but eventually we want to get into the housing co-op. So we pull our resources to do housing. Pull our resources to do child care. It makes no sense that you're paying $800, $600 a month for child care. If we can all pull our resources and take that money down, do something collective. And so this is what we're trying to do here. So with that said, I appreciate you guys for coming out, and thank you.
I think we are back. Can everybody see the screen now?
Yep.
Turn that light on.
Yeah, we gotta go ahead and get this going. All right, okay. What's on? Make sure we got our music queued up here. 101. It doesn't look like we're going to get our video here. And by the way, this is Leia, future vice president. She's already told me, Daddy, if something happened to you, I'm stepping up. So, she told me don't slip. Don't slip, Daddy. Okay, co-ops 101. So we're going to talk a little bit about co-ops. We're not going to have the video, so I'm going to kind of explain to everybody what that is. I guess I'm going to kind of talk about. How many people have heard of co-ops in this room before? What are your ideas of co-ops? We're going to go around the room. You can just shout them out. When you heard of a co-op, what was it? What kind of co-op was it?
Community owned.
Housing. I hear housing. What other?
Food co-op.
Food co-op, like we are right now. Okay, what else?
Grocery store.
Grocery store co-ops. So those are the most popular types of co-ops. Housing co-ops. Housing co-ops, food co-ops. So what is a food co-op? What exactly does that mean? So basically the food co-op is going to be a collective of individuals who work together, who can then leverage their buying power together to be able to have access to more things. I.e., let's just say you wanted watermelon for yourself. And I think it would be fair to say everybody in this room would like some watermelon at this time. However, that's not going to happen because we're out of season. However, let's just say you wanted watermelon and no one was bringing watermelon into Kansas City. What an abomination. You ain't going to get no watermelon. But if you had 3 people on your block who wanted watermelon, maybe there's a farmer who's in Columbia, let's say, and would bring the watermelon in and drop off to all the people on your block who would want to purchase watermelon. It'd be viable because he'd be able to sell, to each person. I know Mr. Dean here, he would probably 5, 6, 7 watermelons a day. I mean, those are real numbers. Those are actual statistic numbers we took there. During the summertime, it's hot in Kansas City. So basically, a co-op will be leveraging our buying power together so that we will be able to make purchases of food in larger amounts. So we're going to move on to the next slide. Next 2 slides, actually. Not happening. We're really good at forming co-ops, not so great at technology. All right? Like, that is not... I think my spouse said I look like a black Steve Jobs. Is that what it is? Like about to release the iPhone? Okay. So there's seven basic principles that make up operating principles or guiding principles that we use when we're forming or when we're operating the co-op. And the first one of those principles is open and voluntary enrollment. So co-ops are not going to limit for any social, political, religious, racial, any reason. Anybody can become and join and become a member of the co-op. The beauty of it is that you don't even have to be a member of the co-op to benefit from the co-op. So what do I mean? So let's just say the KCUFC, we open our retail space and you see that we have a delicious orange, cherry, heirloom tomato. I know Brother Eric over there is like, brother, you making up foods that don't even exist yet. You're lying in the church. So we have these heirloom tomatoes and you want to come purchase them and you're not a member of the co-op. That means nothing in the sense of you can purchase from the co-op. That means you will not be restricted from purchasing from the co-op if you're not a member. Now you might want to ask, well, if I don't have to be a member, why in the world would I even have to, why would I become a member if I could just go and purchase? We're going to get to that later. Let's go to our next screen. Member economic participation. Okay, so this combines a lot of different concepts. This is just what I was speaking about earlier. There is a group dynamic here. When you go to Aldi, when you go to Walmart, Wally World, when you go to when you go to another grocery store, you are purchasing for who? For yourself. They are marketing, they are targeting just one person. In fact, there's new technologies on NPR, there's new technologies, location devices on your phone, and depending on your cookies and spending patterns, they can actually change the prices of certain items as you walk by them on the shelf. Wow. Because they know your spending habits. Look that up. So that's the reality. So when you're out there all by yourself, you don't necessarily have the coverage of a group. What does that mean? The buying power and the leverage of a group. Members provide the basic capital money to start and operate the co-op. So your memberships in the co-op help to fund the co-op. Of course, like we've seen, it's not the only source. This is not some type of, a lot of people think, hey man, this is one like Peter to Paul deal, right? So I'm gonna let the family A pay for all the expenses here, and then family B is just going to use everything up. That is not the exclusive funding source of the co-op. Co-ops use bank loans, they use grants, they use government funds, as well as the member funds as basic capital money to start. We also have something in a co-op which you never, ever, and many of us, including myself, was an extremely foreign concept to me, which is a concept of dividends, where in our co-op, we describe that as a membership rebate. So if you're a member of the co-op and you spend X amount of dollars, every single year the co-op has to offer, and this is something that you as a member of the co-op have the opportunity to vote on, a percentage of a membership refund based on patronage. So what does that mean? So let's say you buy toilet paper. And I know a lot of brothers thinking, I never buy toilet paper. And maybe that's some of the single brothers in the room. But the issue is here that families go through lots, as a head of a family, lots and lots of toilet paper. So we're going to use toilet paper as an example here. So let's say you purchased toilet paper and you bought, you spent $300 on toilet paper, which is a very, very small spending on toilet paper if you really want to do it. But let's say you do that, you spend that amount, and at the end of the year now, you have a patronage refund or patronage rebate, which might be 1% or 2%. So let's say all you did was purchase paper towel or toilet paper from the co-op, you spent $300, and there was a rebate at the end of the year for 2%. Now I know we got some young scholars in this room. Who can tell us what 2% of 300 is? 6, some of the older scholars. Okay, I'll take it. So you make $6 you would have as a percentage rebate. Now, what store have you been to where depending on how much you purchased from them, you've had the opportunity to receive money or rebate back? Anybody tell me one store? You ever went to Walmart and they said, hey man, I'm gonna give you a little something back?
Costco.
Pardon me? Menards. And I believe Menards might be a form of a cooperative. I'm not too sure. I know there's other cooperatives that you might have heard of before. REI. Has anybody ever heard of REI? Equipment company. No kayakers in the room. All right, that's cool. It's Kansas City. We don't live in the Rockies. Okay. So that would be the member rebate. So the surplus would be distributed, and all of that is going to be dependent on the membership is going to have opportunity to vote on that. So let's say you're not a member, you will not receive a rebate. So let's just say you just want to come buy your toilet paper. If we happen to offer that, you will not receive a rebate if you're not a member. So that is a very big benefit of being a member as well. If we continue to the next slide, please. A democratic member control. So what are you saying, vote? What is this vote thing on meals? I was just talking to a sister here earlier. She said you weren't an adult at a certain time in Chicago, wasn't that you? She said until you got your voter registration card, is that important for people? But here in the co-op, voting is extremely important. I would argue more than outside. We have equal voting and decision-making power of the governance of the co-op. What does that mean? That means myself, as a member of the board, all the other board members have no more leverage in this room than the members of the co-op. See, that is a true democratic system. We're not even going to get into outside politics, but what we're saying is that you have the opportunity to participate in choosing the decisions of the co-op. Next slide, please. Autonomy and independent. Cooperatives are independent self-help organizations controlled by their members. They limit the influence of outside agencies or business partners to ensure their independence. We do not report to a governmental agency. The buck stops in this room as far as the decision-making goes. If anybody, we will have copies of our bylaws. We can send you copies of our new bylaws, all in compliance with Missouri state statutes for cooperative corporations. All of that is made and put in place. The government put that in place so that cooperatives are essentially autonomous organizations. They control what happens, and their members get to control the cooperative. Okay? That means a complete transparency through and through. That was a structure put in place so that people can have the opportunity to control. Now here's the question I have. Why haven't we had cooperatives in our neighborhoods earlier? Anybody think about that? If this is such a great idea, why hasn't it been around? Well, the history is that there were cooperatives. We did have cooperatives, and we were parts of many big cooperatives. In fact, the majority of black cooperatives today are in the region in Jackson, Mississippi. There was a special push in that area. I know this, one of the brothers here was a very close friend of Chokwe Lumumba and the movement that was going on there in Jackson, Mississippi. But the majority of black co-ops are now located in that portion of the region. Also, Oakland, California, I believe there's some cooperatives that were visited a couple of years ago. So they are in our communities. There has been a retreat. The big box of corporations have come in, but this is why we see such a big need for this coming back. And here are a few of the other guiding principles. We classify these under special practices. We have education, training, and information. So the point of a co-op is just not to walk in, grab your greens, grab your mustards, grab some fruit, and just take it, run back to the house. We really want engagement, okay? We have an obligation as members of the board, and as you as members would have an obligation to be educated about the co-op. It's our job to give you as much information about the co-op as possible to all of the members. What does that mean? So we want to make sure all the general public knows about us. We do marketing, but we also explain to them how co-ops work, and specifically how our co-op works. I'm so devastated we don't have this video, but you know, it's okay, we'll be all right. Man, I was looking at it all evening. That was the video. Concern for the community. While member needs are their primary concern, cooperatives work for the sustainable development of their community. This is a corporation. A co-op is not a nonprofit. Okay, a lot of people might have that image of a cooperative as being some type of nonprofit food bank. It is a corporation under laws and in purpose. Our purpose is to be a productive business of the community. But we also look at sustainability. So what does that mean? We don't want to, she thinks I'm slipping. That's what she's doing. She's like, Daddy, I want to take over. You can't take over. I'm sorry. It's all right. Okay. So we want to participate in the community to make sure that the community is engaged. We're not just some type of, we do not want to build an institution that in 50 or 60 years is in an ivory tower and the community does not have access. Every single person here, we want to be a legacy member. That means a part of our co-op, and their children, and hopefully their grandchildren, get to participate in this type of economics. And also, the beauty of a cooperative is that there is a joint, a community of cooperatives. So not only is Kansas City Urban Farm Co-op the only cooperative which we're working with, we've already partnered and entered into mentorship with other cooperatives around the state, rather in Kansas, in conversations with cooperatives in Minnesota and in Jackson, Mississippi. So we're putting together a network. Kansas City has kind of been a blank spot on the map for cooperatives for many years now, and we're hoping to bring that back here to the community. So what's the difference between Costco and a co-op? Okay? So a lot of people have wondered about that. They think, it's just some type of discount club. Usually these clubs, as we all know, as far as the Sam's Club, the Waltons are not going to ask you if you want a special item. The Waltons are not going to come to you and ask you, hey man, we're kind of thinking of blood oranges this season. I don't know what your idea about that is. No, you're not going to have an input on any of the decisions that the corporations make. They're not owned or they're not governed by the people who are part of their membership. Their money is basically, they're trying to make this number for an investor, for a shareholder, on the stock. In this particular model, the membership actually creates the ownership. So when you say, I am a member of the Kansas City Urban Farm Co-op, you are actually an owner of, because your vote is a part of the whole. So we have small cooperatives, and there's also multi-million. I believe one of the largest cooperatives in the world is located in Spain. $100 million operation. Globally employ over more than 100 million people, which is all cooperatives, and have more than 800 million members. So you might not have been a part of a cooperative in the past, but there's almost 1 billion people on this planet who participate in cooperatives. So the overall goal of the cooperative movement is to create organizations that serve the needs of the people who use them. So we want you to keep that in mind. Cooperative businesses provide goods and services in a way that keep community resources in the community. Extremely, extremely important. This is the reason why we have formed this organization, in order to keep the resources within the community and to serve the needs of the people of the community. This is not a chain that we're looking to spread across the state, although we would like cooperatives to grow up, people to adopt that, to pop up rather, and people to adopt that model, but we're trying to serve the needs of the people here in our community yourselves. So with that, I want to thank you very much for this, and we do hope that you become members.
I'm going to keep this really brief. What I want to talk about tonight is, what do we do going forward? One of the things that Dre said, I'm going to take this off here. One of the things that Dre talked about was that he doesn't like to, sell you on some far off thing that's far fetched. All right, this isn't something that may work. It will work if we all decide to work together. We talked about the fact that billions of dollars in Kansas City are being spent in the food industry. All we have to do is redirect the money that we're spending right now back to ourselves. That's it. And we will be successful. And so, to give you a little background information, the way that the majority of food co-ops work is they do a capital campaign where they try to raise money from their members. That takes place year one. Over the course of the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they work on raising member loans, bank loans, grants, and developing their organization. And so the normal amount of time from a co-op's campaign to raise funds to the time where they actually open their retail store is 3 to 5 years. That's about the time that it takes. And so, as we talked about that timetable, we realized that our community, yes, will benefit from that later down the line, but we also want to do something right now. We can't wait for 5 and 6 years. And so, our main focus over the last 6, 7, 8 months has been trying to put something in place. And so, like Dre talked about, on April 22nd, that'll be the first action that you can take. You can actually put your hands in the ground and make an impact in the city that will never go away. So we're asking every single person out here to join us. Come put your, like I said, hands in the dirt, and let's make a difference. The vision, though, this is a small start for us. 200 trees, it's a lot. It's going to produce, over the next 20 years, 1 million pounds of fruit. But it's just the beginning. A tree doesn't cost that much, and it doesn't take a lot of legwork to put one on every block or within walking distance of every kid in our city. So that is our goal. All our goals, they seem lofty, but if you really think about it, $30 buys a tree, $40 buys a tree, a shovel and some water puts it in the ground. And then our kids are eating. So our short-term goal is to start this spring and planting the fruit trees. We have a 10-year lease that'll be extended if we're successful, when we're successful. The next step is to secure land, and we're looking to do that this spring as well. And so that land is going to be headquarters for us. It'll be the location where we'll start our fisheries. Well, actually, we'll start our fisheries ahead of time, but it'll be the place where our aquaculture takes place. We're going to build our greenhouses. That is the next step. But again, we're years away from that retail space, from that grocery store or grocery stores that we want to build. So what can we do in the meantime? So the idea of pop-up farmers markets. So what we're going to do in the meantime. So we're not going to wait until we've raised enough money to do the grocery store. That's millions of dollars in. Okay? We're going to start doing things now. We're going to start doing things this year. So before you leave today or sometime tonight, I ask of you one thing is to go ahead and join us on Facebook. Sounds like a small, small step, but getting the word out is the reason that we're here now today. We're KC Urban Farm Co-op on Facebook. Please join us. Everything that we talked about tonight, as far as the dates that are coming up, will be on our Facebook account as well as our website. Our website is kcufc.com, so you can go there as well, and we have a calendar of events. The next thing we'll do tonight, and that'll be after we close out, is we're going to start our membership campaign up again. Now, some of you have already signed up, but we have changed the bylaws. So legally, we want to make sure that we're in line. So we're going to have you actually sign up again under the new set of bylaws. We'll have paperwork for you to fill out. Starting tomorrow, we're going to reset all username and passwords that people have set up so that we can start fresh. So you can go ahead and purchase a membership effective tomorrow morning. When we first launched, we had the rates of $150 and $20 per month. Now we realize that we're going to try to broaden our base a little bit more, so we cut the lowest price in half, so it's $10 per month. So we try to get something that's affordable. It's less than a month worth of Netflix. And with that, and our drive to get as many members as we can, there's no way that we're not going to be successful here. So I'm going to turn it over to Dre. We're going to wrap it up, and then we'll talk about what the next steps are.
Thank you.
I'm going to be brief. Like I said, $10 a month. Some of you guys go to church, and we know I'm in the church. But, you pay your tithes every Sunday. You got the building fund, and you ain't seen the building in 5, 10, 15 years. And so, like I just said, we building now. We building now. We putting the money in right now. You actually seeing fruit trees going up, in 2 months. And so you actually seeing what we actually doing. We're about putting the work in. It's a small investment. This is investment to our future. A small little investment. $10 into the future. You want to make a change, you got to be the change you want to see. So it's a lot of people that could have been here, but they're not. I appreciate you guys for being here, for trying to actually make change in the community. It actually takes work. They say faith without work is dead. And so it's going to take us in here to do the work. So with that said, let's go to work. Get members. Get people in your job to sign up. Get family members to sign up. I appreciate, you all coming here. I got a diverse group of people here. A diverse group of people here. We don't have big numbers now. I want to run this co-op like a campaign. A campaign meaning you're going door to door. Letting people know why they should join the co-op. We should be knocking on everybody's door. And we're going to run a campaign. We're going to go to everybody's door and say, hey, just like politicians do. Usually they go door to door, they knock on the door, they get in office, and then you don't hear from them again. It happens too often. Let's go knock on the doors. They're going to see us. They're going to be part of it. You can't ask a politician to raise the money that he raised for the benefit of the people. So we see a benefit for the people. So this is what we're trying to do. We're going to set up a time. What you guys can do now. Tell somebody. Post on Facebook about the co-op. Join it. We don't have to really wait 2 or 3 years for a grocery store. It's enough of us in the room to raise, if we wanted to, $500,000. If everybody went to work and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. There's a co-op in Lawrence right now called a Merck Co-op. They got 7,000 members in Lawrence. 7,000 members in Lawrence. Kansas City is a lot bigger than Lawrence. A lot bigger. They make $1 million+ in revenue a year in Lawrence in their co-op called the Merck Co-op. Look them up. They got a grocery store, probably about a 30,000 square foot grocery store in Lawrence. This is something we can do. There's no way somebody can come and shut us down if we participate in doing what we're supposed to do, when we're controlling it. This is control. This is what we're doing it for, control. We ain't doing it just to do it. But this is part of being a co-op. So it's not just me. I go to a lot of meetings, advocating for what we're doing at the co-op, Now Valley, and a lot of other things I'm doing. So this is something that everybody can be part of. Email or call the city council people, the mayor. I went to a budget meeting Saturday. There's probably about this amount of people in the budget hearing meeting. And that's how disengaged people are. There was this many people in a budget hearing meeting Saturday. They talk about the $1 billion budget that Kansas City had. It was this amount of people in that room. So this is the power we have. We got this many people, part of a co-op. It was that many people in the city room to talk about $1 billion where the money should be spent. So when we come together, we go to the city and say, hey, we need, $1 million. They can't tell us no. We're going to make those calls. We're going to force their hand. And that's what being a cooperative is about. We all got a part to play, whether it's big or small. This is what we're here to do. We got kids in the room. It's unfortunate that we tell our kids they got to go get a job, outside the community. Where can they work at? What can they do? There's no jobs in the city. There shouldn't be no reason why they can't work inside the city. Show them how to grow food. 99% of the food is imported in. What did that tell you? It tells you that you have 99% of the market to sell to. 99% of the market to sell to. It's that simple. I met Ron Finley. I don't know if you're familiar with Ron Finley. He got a good TED Talk. He's like, growing your own food is like putting your own money. You all got to eat. We got some food back in the corner. Had to come from somewhere. We got a lot of food back there. Who's the caterer again? Now that's good. Caterer. So I'm gonna keep it brief. Y'all got a part. I know y'all hungry. I'm hungry. We got a lot of food to eat. But take this message with you. Let's all do something. Let's be attentive. Those who are not familiar, I'm connecting a lot of people around the country because of what we're doing. We're doing something. When I first posted this online, it was like over 900 shares. It reached a lot of people across the country, across the world actually. About 1,000 likes on Facebook. That right there kind of put me in position to be the founder of the co-op. I wasn't expecting to be, to start a co-op, but I knew then that I had something. And so the world is watching, whether y'all know it or not. Ours is on Kansas City and what we do here. I go around a lot of places, and people are wondering what we're doing here. We got a chance to set the tone for other communities that need something like this. We're doing the work. We done the work last 6 months behind the scenes to take care of all our legalities. Now it's up to you guys to get our membership to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 members that everybody can benefit from. Lamine made the point of toilet paper. So just imagine if we collectively went out and bought toilet paper at a discounted price and saved you guys money on toilet paper. And we just took our money collectively and bought things as a cooperative and saved you money. So that's something we can look into and say, what are our basic needs? Let's go in collectively and buy whatever our basic needs are and save everybody money like maybe Costco or Sam's Club. But you get that dividend back at the end of the year for participating in patronage. This is what it's about. With that said, let's eat.